I think fan switch but
Okay. Recording is started. Welcome back, guys. So it's been a while, and we have folks from different groups on this call. Just wanted to get you guys connected with Coach Volker again to see how you're progressing, what your goals are, and how you want to go further. So I'll hand it over to you guys. Coach, over to you. Um, Coach Volker, can you hear me? Can anyone hear me?
yes, can hear you, Shri.
So not sure if Coach is able to. His microphone is not connected. Just a moment. Hey, Aaron, what's up, man?
Hey, hi, Shri. How are you?
Good. How's Bangalore weather?
Bangalore weather, die for, man. Seriously, I wish I can stay back here just for the weather, but not for the terrain.
The terrain will make you stronger, man. What are you saying?
Terrain, I don't know if it's making me stronger, but definitely giving me some self doubt, denting my confidence. That much I know.
Well, we'll know tomorrow.
Yeah, dog.
We're
I'm
counting
looking-
on you, Aaron.
Yeah, oh God, don't please. I'm looking forward to not being dropped and just hanging on with these guys. We are fighting against a bunch of 20-year-olds who do like 83,000 meters of elevation every year. So, so we have our competition cut out for this race.
It's never about the competition. It's always about you. Yeah.
True.
And Coach got dropped. You guys dropped Coach.
We dropped Coach.
Already. நம்ம இன்னும் ஆரம்பிக்கவே இல்லையே.
Amma. I was expecting this to happen in 20 minutes into the meeting. Coach is back.
I think Coach is coming back. There he is. Hey, Coach. We can see you, but we can't hear you.
It's connecting to audio.
Coach, you're on mute, I
He's
think.
on mute.
Welcome everybody. Sorry.
Coach, you're very feeble. Can't hear you much.
Oh, I don't know. Does it work better now?
So it's very feeble, Coach. We can hear you, but it's like not really audible at all.
What's wrong today? Okay, did anything change? Is it better now?
It's a little bit better, Coach. I don't know about the others. Can you guys hear them?
Yes, I can hear Shri.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hi, Shobha. How are you?
Yeah, doing good, Shri. Can you see me? It's muted, right? Video?
I think your video is not on, Shobha. If you want, you can turn it on.
Better it's turned off only. I'm audible,
so
right? But my line is clear.
Okay.
Ashwin is yet to join. I messaged him.
Yeah, a few people are either at work or not able to join the call. So I'm recording this meeting anyway. I'll send out the
from my
YouTube
batch.
link.
Okay. I think
Yeah.
from my batch only I'm there.
Yeah. And there's no one from second batch. So we have batch 1 and batch 3.
Okay, awesome.
So Coach, you've been watching everyone's progress. They've been riding on a regular basis. At least the ones that are riding regularly, they've been progressing really nicely. Many of them are participating in high profile races now and doing well as well. So I'm not sure if you heard about the results from the HCL cyclothon. So quite a few from the PCGG group came on the podium. So including Aaron. So congrats, Aaron. And Shobha as well. So Shobha did the MTB race and she also came on the podium. So it's amazing progress, following all the training plan basically. So I just want
Thank you, Coach
Abhilash
and
as well.
Good.
Abhilash as well, Shri.
Is he on the call?
No, Abhi has
he's also on the podium.
Yeah. Quite a few on the podium, but I was just mentioning the folks who are on the call.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean that's what it's about, right? In the end.
Right. So we are hoping to replicate that now with these guys at BBCH Nandi. So Vikram and Aaron and Abhilash and a few others are there as well. So
okay, cool. Yeah, that's a great one with a great finish.
Yes.
So maybe we can just start with that. So Aaron and Vikram, since you guys have an event coming up, if you have any questions, I'll let you guys start off first. And then the rest of us can ask questions based on our upcoming events or how we want our training to progress.
Oh yeah.
Coach, first of all, I have to really compliment the fact that you're looking even fitter than our last call.
Started training again. So.
Oh yeah, it shows.
Coming along.
Great, Coach. Really happy to know that. So yeah, we are all at Bangalore to do the Nandi race tomorrow. We are of course, since it's the first time we are participating, we are in the amateur category. So I mean, any tips, Coach, since you know the event really well?
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure how it's going to be tomorrow. because I mean that's the first part, right? And there's the climb. so I don't know how hectic everybody's gonna be in the different groups. But honestly, if you wanna just do it as a great workout as well, fight for it even on the flats to stay in the group or in a good group, preferably D1 group, the first one, in your category, and then just hit the hill as hard as you can, and you know it's gonna take some time, right? So for everybody a little bit different, but I mean you have a clue now on how to dial in the pacing, and don't be afraid that you already did quite a lot of work before. Just try what you can do, because that hill might even help you, because it's not a killer, you know, it's not like ramping up all the time. It's just a nice slope which isn't too hard to do, and that could be a very, very good progressive ride for a workout as well, basically. So hitting it hard in the end. And the only thing which I recommend is at least 10 minutes prior entering the elevations, eat. Eat. That's really important. So you don't have to eat initially, and you still can have a gel like in the middle of the hill, but eat before, because that's where the energy will be lower, and that's why you need to be happy to start on that elevation. But then I think that gradient might even help all of you to get really, really good results and really, really good power numbers in the end. Yeah, because it's a smoother pedaling because of that incline, which usually makes it about 5 to 10 watts more, which whatever power you could sustain on the levels, if you put it in a climb, you probably have like 5 to 10% more. But don't go in initially with that number in mind. It's good enough if you basically have like your 20, 30 minute mark, and then try it up there. Yeah.
Thank you, Coach. First and foremost, thank you for accommodating all our workouts every time we ask you. You know, when we have an event coming up,
Sure.
and I should say it's because of these workouts we have really gotten strong, and I think the results, you know, are starting to show. When we pace the climb, Coach, I just have one question. When we pace the climb, do we go at threshold and keep it like really high up there and like go full gas at the end, or do we just pace it out evenly and build it up slowly towards the end?
Well, go up your threshold, and you'll see after half of the climb. Okay. So it makes no sense to make the decision entering the climb, right? I mean, it's not like a sprint classic, right?
Okay.
Where the decision is made there, obviously. But for you, I would go there, hit, try to hit the threshold, even if it was hard before, and you should see that you're able to keep it up and to keep that power at least, and then halfway through the climb, make a decision. Can I go a little bit harder? Because it only takes a little bit then, right?
Yeah.
Maybe switching one gear, maybe, and then continuing with that slightly above threshold power, if you can do it. It's still great if if you needed to do some work before. It's still great if you go up there with threshold, right? Because I mean that you still have quite some minutes in your legs then, so that's all right too. Yeah.
And as far as nutrition, Coach, just before we hit the climb, we just run with the gels rather than going with any kind of solid food like a bar or something, or do we just run with the gels?
If you have some solid food with you, do that. Better eat that once you're in the bunch, right, or in the group,
Okay.
sitting safely in the group at the back. That's where you should eat the solid food, because otherwise the breathing is too hard on the climb to enable you to get that solid food down, right? So I would spare one gel at least for the climb, right?
Okay.
And before entering it, as I said, I would eat something. If it is a gel, it's a gel. If it is some solid food, it's solid food. Whatever you have there, yeah. But keep one gel for the climb. That's a good idea. And what you can do is just glue it on your either the stem, like
Okay.
like one package of gel, glue it on there. Save it for the climb. That's it. The rest,
Okay.
because it's also better to keep your position, since you don't regular do those climbs, right?
Yeah.
It's more common for you to get the food out of the pockets on level ground. However, speed is lower on the climb, so if you're familiar with that, it's actually really easy to get some stuff out of the jersey bags. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, coach. And the pre-ride nutrition, we can just follow whatever we've been doing for a pre-race till date. We don't have to
Yeah,
change anything.
same thing. Do the same thing. Don't change anything. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, coach. Thank you so much. We hopefully get back to you tomorrow with some decent results.
Yeah. And I mean, the good results, they mostly come from consistency. And what I did see is, like, you're all entered like the 50 to 60 CTL range, right?
Yes.
That's when you also can sustain harder efforts and those high intensity trainings much better. So yeah, we had a while where I didn't split you up all the time, but it's gonna come again, and you'll see that the numbers will be a lot higher than before, because if you're at 60, you just can digest basically the intensity much better and recover from that one. Then you can, obviously, if you come in with a 20 or 30 CTL, right? It's just not the chronic training isn't enough, basically.
Yes.
So yeah, it's like saying, ride your bike. that comes first, and now you're over that step. That's a cool thing, and that's why you also see results, but that's why you also deserve results, right? Because you did the work. Fair enough.
Thanks, coach. I think you've also given us heads up that there's going to be some tough workouts that's going to come right now after this.
Yeah. Well, races are also tough workouts and great workouts, because that's what you train for anyway, right? But
yes,
it's fun. It's fun to do it, and to do it hard on a race, to ride hard on a race. It's just fun. Yeah.
Yes, coach. Thank you, coach. I think that's it from me.
Okay, cool.
Thank you, coach. Thank you once again.
Sure.
Vikram, you have anything you want to ask as well?
Nothing specific really. I mean, as coach said, we've just been putting in the hours on bike. Whatever he's been giving us as workouts, we've been doing. So I was listening to what Aaron was asking. So apart from that, I don't have anything specific. We're just hoping to have a good race tomorrow. As in, we went on a route trekking today, and we then realized that the organizers had goofed up with a different route. So now we're just going to go and race blind. So let's see. Maybe it'll work out better for us that way.
Yeah.
Sometimes, not knowing is the best solution, right?
Yeah.
Well, honestly, my best race ever was not knowing the route at all.
Thanks. This is what we needed to hear, coach.
Well,
exactly.
You only got one chance, right? It's just follow the first group. Don't let go. That's the basic plan, and that's what I did, right? And I really needed to dig deep on that one, and but it was the best ever. Yeah, best ever race I did.
I'm glad we're not doing the route today. Whatever route that we did, Ricky, I'm glad we're not doing that for the race tomorrow.
Okay, good.
Coach, I just wanted to understand one thing. So when I've been doing workouts on the indoor trainer, sometimes I consciously try to. I mean, see, as you mentioned before, on Chennai's flats, we always tend to push to bring out the power. But on the trainer, at least I can even close my eyes and just imagine that I'm pulling on it. So I can feel the hamstrings. I mean, do what we need to do because of those pulls. But how does that translate to actually doing proper a pulling stroke, as in or in the upstroke, while doing a climb? I mean, does it even equate or not?
So the pulling, first of all, it's like a good nerval thing, right? The thing about it is you can't keep pulling for 2 hours. It's just not happening, right? And nobody does that. Not even the pros do it. They're actually having less of foot lifting going on in easy phases. However, when things get tough and when they need to accelerate, that's when they use also the pulling phase, right? So for a workout itself on the trainer, it's good to incorporate those drills because it just makes that movement pattern, which is an easy one, right? It's just a circle. But the circle is actually the toughest one because everything changes all the time, right? on a muscular basis. So that's what you train, which is good. However, we can keep it as long. So for tomorrow's, right? Does it have an impact? Yes, it has an impact. But will you be able tomorrow to use it all the time? And should you be concentrating on pulling? No, because it's just since it is a nerval action, right? It's just also tough on the brain or on the the whole movement pattern of the circle basically is a little bit more complicated, right? And if you concentrate on pulling up tomorrow, it doesn't do you any good because your overall power will drop. However, from a workout basis, it definitely will help you that the body is adapted to it, right? And it also helps you on those shorter anaerobic drills because above FTP, honestly, that's when you first see some pulling action of the leg, like really getting more power to the overall pedal stroke. However, the lifting comes before that, right? So you ease the front leg to not push up the rearward leg. So that comes before that. So it's always helpful. But you would in a race, and you wouldn't concentrate on that either because you just go and you do it naturally by then. You would more and more incorporate that pulling phase as well. So that's the deal. But don't concentrate on it tomorrow. Just concentrate more on maybe your body lean, the body position, right? Because it needs to be a little tad further, right? Because now the bike comes towards you as well. So that's a little bit different. And what you also can juggle with, it's not super steep, but if it would get steeper, it's also interesting to basically balance out the wheels, right? So okay, I'm not hanging on the front wheel, so I'm not pushing down 80% the front wheel and lifting and only pushing down 20% now with the rear wheel, but to balance it out. It's always best if the bike is balanced, right? So you can do corners much better as well if the bike is balanced 50-50 on the tires, right? That would be a good thinking of riding uphill. Yeah, and a good thing to mentally concentrate on, because then you forget the climb.
Understood, coach. We'll do our best. The other question, coach, is about nutrition. So Aaron was asking about the race nutrition. I have a general question about the general nutrition that we do before our workouts and our other routine rides. We've been focusing a lot. Personally, we've been focusing a lot on the pre-ride nutrition and post-ride nutrition. But I read an article which says that the on-ride nutrition, especially the carbs intake, may actually define how well your body recovers for the next ride. I mean, that may be more crucial than even pre-ride or post-ride nutrition was what I read. So how true is that? I'd like to hear something from you.
I wouldn't say that it shows the recovery, but it shows how much of energy you can put in for an hour. That's usually what they use, right? And that becomes interesting the higher you go with the power. So power is just basically the work you did in a certain time frame, right? That's basically the physics of it all together. So if you're able to do higher power numbers, you need to eat more. But there's some point where the body doesn't get more carbs into your bloodstream in the end, right? And that's what you can train, honestly, and that's what helps you in recovering. So it's a little bit different, right, from the setup. This you need to train as well. So you need to eat a lot while riding. And
coach, on this front, we just wanted to understand. Sorry to interrupt you, but I had read that if you do 200 watts, if you put out 200 watts of power for 1 hour, that equates to 720 kilojoules of energy.
Right.
Okay, so now what does that equate to in terms of kilocalories of food? The 720 kilojoules of work, when you have to equate it to, how do we convert it to kilocalories?
A tad more. I would always say give it 10% more than the kilojoules. So if you did the 200 watts for an hour, that makes it 720 kilojoules, right? So add that 70 again, right? The 10%, around 800, right? 800-ish. That's the number of kilojoules. Now, how is it divided? That's the interesting part as well, right? How much is fat? How much is carbs? Well, that depends on the threshold. If you're riding at your threshold, basically you can say, well, almost 80% of it is carbs, right? So let's do the thing. You are at 200 threshold as well in that example, right? So let's say 200. You did 200 watts. Your threshold is 200 watts, and it's an 80-20 mix. So 20% fat only, and the rest was carbs. So yeah, go figure. It's around 600 kilojoules or kilocalories, if you would put it like this. You need to eat, right? And if you had 100 grams of carbs with 4 calories per gram, you can basically see that it's already the demand is higher than you can get into your system, right? So usually, if you're a good absorber of the carbs, it goes for approximately 60 gram per hour. The body can absorb of carbs. If you're trained well enough, it goes up to 100. If you're trained super enough, some triathletes, like professional triathletes do, right? They have probably around 110. The chance to get in 110 grams of carbs, which is super narrow to the edge, right, where the stomach will rebel and either throw it up front or in the back. That's the thing, and that's what you see in professional triathlons as well, right? you see some guys having stomach problems, and it's because of the eating, and it's just because of the body didn't absorb it basically, or it was too much of. Mostly they tried liquids like gels, right? They try to live on gels basically at that time, which is the fastest one, but it might also lead to discomfort. Yeah.
Understood. So it's the same thing now. Instead of threshold, if we were doing an endurance ride, how does the equation change? If we were at a upper Z2.
Yeah, it differs a lot from when did you have your meals, right? And that's also the pre and post workout, or especially the pre-workout nutrition. Why we say that, right? So if you do an endurance ride, or why do we do fasted rides, right? You don't want to have some carbs in your system already, because then the body would first take the carbs out of the bloodstream. So if you're already not starving, but at a certain blood level where it's normally set, right? Everybody's a little different, but where your normal baseline would be, and you start with easy riding, then fat is the higher consumption. But on an endurance ride, I would go with a 60-40 probably. Yeah, it's tough to tell though, right? So I mean, you can only say if you're like doing the 1 minute effort, right? You're all out 1 minute. That's basically 100% of carbs / some storage is also in the muscles, like with creatine and stuff, you know, right? But it's only for short periods of time. So a few seconds are fueled by that one. But in the end, it's carbs which is needed to get it up again. Yeah. So yeah, only the really, really hard efforts, you can only do them if you still have some glycogen left in the muscle. That's the thing. Yeah.
Understood, coach. We continue to experiment with the nutrition.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I actually do, like, for a lot of guys in Europe do the Ötztaler, which is a race, right? I think it's 5,500 meters of elevation in the end, packed in like 180 kilometers, right? So you see, it's just climb after climb after climb. And I have some guys who have a threshold of around 320, 330 doing that race, right? So now figure 330 watts of threshold, right? So if he's doing all the hills in tempo, right? He's spending a huge amount of work each hill. So he also needs to eat quite a lot, and we need to time it, because otherwise we could say, okay, well, you start out with your we always say 2,000 kgs of stored glycogen, right? I go with 1,500. Maybe it's not optimal, right? Maybe the breakfast wasn't optimal, so I start with a little bit less, and you can tell basically where the race would be over if he didn't eat already from the beginning, right? So already at the start line, he needs to eat, so that he gets the energy till the finish line. Yeah, so that's just figuring out when to eat, and it's basically just like a timetable with nutrition.
Understood, coach. I think we have a much better. We continue to see how to play around with our nutrition and ask you more relevant doubts next time.
Yeah.
Thank you, coach.
Yeah, coach, I think just adding on to what Vikram had to say, I think the pre-ride nutrition, I think, is kind of dialed in. I think with whatever tips you'd given us, I think that's like almost on point. I think I think scope of improvement for us is the in-ride nutrition during the race. I think sometimes we either not consciously remembering, where we really do a hard out effort, and a lot of other things are running, and nutrition becomes the last thing on our mind. So I think that is where we need to really like focus on to up the game a little bit is what I feel. But as you said, today was some good pointers that you have showed us. So basically, when to probably have solid food and when to go with the gel. I think
Yeah.
that is something that we can work on at least in the future races, so that we can get that also dialed in.
Yeah, and one more thing for especially for races, right? If you do the race tomorrow, if you had to do a really hard effort, let's say you needed to jump up to a group, right, in order to be in that first group, or you had a puncture, right, and you try to get back to some riders you can ride with, right, and they're at your same level. So after all those hard efforts during a race, if it gets easier, right? So you hang in there, you reach the end of the group, right? So you can take a breather, take the breather, and then already think about, hey, I just did some quite hard work previously, like the last few minutes. Eat right at that point, because you know that you burned, and you know that you burned a lot of carbs. So that's a great thing to just keep in mind. Okay, I did that hard work, so I immediately give it back, basically.
Sure, coach. I think we will try doing that on the race tomorrow if the situation arises. Thank you, coach.
Sure, and then you're also prepared to if like some attacks go on, like in a good race and in a hard race, if some attacks go on, you don't have to eat at that time, right? Because now your watch is telling you, hey, 20 minutes are over, 30 minutes are over, and you need to eat. So you're always ready at a race. That's the mental thing behind it as well, the idea.
Sure, coach. Done.
Mm-hmm. Some more questions, or happy so far?
Sri, do we